What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Twitch Legal Docs video. Today I got the monetized streamer agreement. This agreement is available in additional languages here. The Twitch monetized streamer agreement enables you to access monetization tools offered by Twitch in connection with streaming on your channel. This monetized streamer agreement contains the terms and conditions that govern your participation in the Twitch monetized streamer program, which is operated by Twitch Interactive Incorporated and its corporate affiliates. Collectively, we, us, are, or Twitch. Any person or entity that participates or attempts to participate in the program, such person or entity, you or your, must accept this agreement. Upon your acceptance of this agreement and or your use of Twitch or continued participation in the program, you agree that the terms herein will govern your participation in the program. You further agree that Twitch will have no obligations in connection with this agreement until it determines that your Twitch channel is eligible to participate in the program. The terms of service and other posted Twitch guidelines, rules, and policies, collectively the terms of service, are incorporated herein and continue to govern your use of the Twitch services. 1. Legibility and compliance.
1.1. To be eligible to participate in the program, you must submit a complete and accurate application, including all information, forms, documents, or certifications as may be required to satisfy any tax obligations with respect to payments under this agreement, and then be approved by Twitch to participate. We will evaluate your application and notify you of its acceptance or rejection. We will determine your eligibility at our sole discretion. If we A. reject your application, or B. terminate your account in connection with any violation or abuse, including any violations of the terms of service, you may not attempt to rejoin the program without our advance written authorization. 1.2. Compliance requirements. You will ensure that the information in your program application and otherwise associated with your account, including your email address, physical address, and other contact information, and identification of your Twitch channel, is at all times complete, accurate, and up to date. You must comply with this agreement and the terms of service, each as updated from time to time, to participate in the program and to receive any program fees. Please read them carefully. Additionally, you must promptly provide us with information we request to verify your compliance with this agreement. If you fail to comply without permission from Twitch, we reserve the right to do any or all of the following. Disable the serving of advertisements to your Twitch channel. To the extent permitted by applicable law, withhold program fees otherwise payable to you, terminate your agreement, and disable your Twitch channel. You agree you will not, and you will not encourage anyone else to, generate queries, impressions of, or clicks on any advertisements, or obtain access to any content on Twitch through any deceptive or fraudulent means. You and we agree to comply with applicable export laws.
2. Content.
2.1. Content programming. You will be the executive producer of, and responsible for, all user content programmed to the Twitch services. Your Twitch channel or channels, including your Twitch channel page or pages, is referred to herein as your Twitch channel. Subject at all times to compliance with the terms of service, you will decide in your sole discretion: A. the user content to produce and program for your Twitch channel. B. the quantity of user content programmed for your Twitch channel. C. the times and days your Twitch channel will be live on the Twitch services. D. any other user content you choose to include on the Twitch services. And E. what equipment may be needed to create your user content, and you are solely responsible for providing any such equipment. Twitch is a live streaming service, and in support of this, you agree that your user content will primarily consist of live content, and that when live streaming, You will generally engage with viewers of your Twitch channel through chat or other live means as applicable. You will obtain and maintain at all times, and will be fully liable for failing to obtain and maintain all necessary rights, consents, approvals, permits, and licenses related to the use, reproduction, broadcasting, streaming, distribution, performance, and display, publicly and otherwise, of user content programmed on your Twitch channel. You will immediately remove any content from your Twitch channel if it violates the terms of service.
3. Program revenue.
As previously and separately set forth in the terms of service, Twitch already has and retains the exclusive right to monetize the Twitch services. If you're accepted into the program, Twitch may make certain monetization opportunities and tools, program tools, available for you from which you may be eligible to receive fees under this agreement, collectively the program fees. For the avoidance of doubt, as further set forth in Section 4 below, if you are not a Twitch affiliate or Twitch partner, you are ineligible to receive any program fees. During your participation in the program, the fees you are eligible to receive from your live streaming performances is on, and in connection with, your Twitch channel will be indicated in this agreement or on your dashboard, with such fees incorporated herein by reference. Your dashboard is the personalized hub on the Twitch services where you can find information about your Twitch channel and your activity on Twitch. Twitch reserves the right to add, remove, amend, or update any program tools during the course of the program in its sole discretion, and your use and the availability of any program tools will be governed by this agreement. The following terms apply to program tools currently offered.
3.1. Bits. You may receive a fee from us relating to bits that are used by a viewer to cheer for you or on your Twitch channel through chat or other means. Bits means digital content that allows Twitch services users to celebrate moments and express appreciation for streamers using the cheering feature on the Twitch services. As may be made available by Twitch in its sole discretion, to receive any revenue in connection with bits, you must comply with the bits acceptable use policy. I read that, including its restrictions on solicitation with bits, which terms are incorporated herein.
3.2. Channel subscriptions. You may receive a fee equal to the percentage set forth in your dashboard of net revenue from paid or gifted channel subscriptions. As a participant in the program, you may use the Twitch services to offer subscriptions to your Twitch channel subscription. You will decide, in your sole discretion, but at all times subject to the terms of service, the benefits that will be offered as part of any channel subscription package, which may include features that Twitch may make available to you, e.g. emote slots, badge slots, sub-only chat mode, etc. Subscription product offerings, including tiered and bundled subscription offerings, rates, and subscription tokens for channel subscriptions, will be determined by Twitch in its sole discretion and in accordance with applicable law. Twitch has the sole right to collect all channel subscription revenue. Fees you receive for channel subscriptions will be subject to the type of offering, which may include discounts, promotions, and local pricing.
Twitch and its affiliates may offer users of their service tokens for redemption on Twitch as channel subscription tokens. If one or more subscription tokens are redeemed for a channel subscription, you may receive a fixed rate fee for each such redeemed subscription token based on the country of your location of the redeemer. The subscription fixed rate fees, for the avoidance of doubt, you will not receive a share of net revenue from any subscription tokens redeemed for a channel subscription. Twitch may update the subscription fixed rate fees at any time at its discretion.
3.3. Advertisements. You may receive a fee equal to the percentage set forth in your dashboard of net revenue for advertisements displayed or broadcast on your Twitch channel during your live streaming performance in connection with user content or on your Twitch channel. Twitch is not obligated to display any advertisements on your Twitch channel and may determine the type and format of all advertisements on the Twitch services. Advertisements means any advertisements of any nature sold, served, or displayed in connection with the Twitch services by Twitch or any of its affiliates, agents, or vendors. 3.4. Offers. From time to time, Twitch may run opt-in programs or otherwise make offers to you that may provide the opportunity to earn additional or alternative fees or other benefits. Offers. Your participation in any offer may be subject to your agreement to specific or additional terms with respect to that offer, and once accepted by you, such additional or different terms will be deemed an amendment to this agreement. If there is a conflict between this agreement and the terms, rules, or policies for any offer, the latter terms, rules, or policies will take precedence with respect to your participation in such offer.
4. Payment and reporting.
4.1. Payment terms. Program fees payable by Twitch to you will be paid to you on a monthly basis within 45 days after the end of each calendar month and in United States dollars unless otherwise indicated by the payment service. Net revenue means all revenue actually received by Twitch for which you may receive a share in connection with your Twitch channel, less any A. Billing or platform fees, licensing costs and fees, advertisements, costs of sales, and any other costs and fees of any kind incurred in connection with providing and marketing the Twitch services. B. Taxes, returns, refunds, chargebacks, discounts, currency exchange fees in connection with your chosen payment method, bad debt, and any other applicable credits. And C. Bank and transaction fees associated with your chosen payment option. Your receipt of program fees is contingent on you providing Twitch all information and documentation necessary and appropriate to effectuate payment, e.g. IRS Form W9, IRS Form W8. If you do not provide such information and documentation within 180 days following any program fees becoming payable to you by Twitch, you will forfeit such program fees on a month-to-month rolling basis until such information and documentation is received by Twitch. Further, until the payment threshold noted on your dashboard, the payment threshold, has been reached, you will have no claim on such accruals, and Twitch will not be obligated to make a payment to you. The payment threshold indicated on your dashboard is hereby incorporated into this agreement. Program fees, both below and above the payment threshold, that are reflected on your dashboard may be used for purchases on Twitch via your spendable balance, as defined in the Twitch Terms of Sale, which is incorporated herein by reference. If you have opted in to the spendable balance, you will not receive a payout of your program fees unless you are eligible for such payout, including by being a Twitch affiliate or Twitch partner. You have reached the payment threshold, and you have opted via your dashboard to receive a payout. For clarity, you are not eligible for payout of program fees unless and until you qualify as a Twitch affiliate or Twitch partner and the payment threshold is met. Prior to qualifying as a Twitch affiliate or Twitch partner, program fees reflected on your dashboard are only accessible to you via your spendable balance for use in making purchases on Twitch. If at any time there has been no logged-in activity on your Twitch account for 2 years, or more, if the law of the jurisdiction where you reside requires, any unpaid accrued program fees above the payment threshold may be subject to escapement under applicable abandoned property law or become extinct by applicable statute of limitation. We will pay you any eligible program fees via a payment method you choose from the payment options we make available for the program. To ensure proper payment, you are responsible for providing and maintaining accurate contact and payment information through the Twitch services. Any changes to your contact and payment information will not be effective until at least 15 business days after submission to us. Twitch has the right to offset any amounts owing by Twitch to you against any amounts owing from you to Twitch, whether under this agreement or otherwise. If any excess payment has been made to you for any reason whatsoever, we reserve the right to adjust or offset the same against your spendable balance or any program fees payable to you under this agreement. Please note that the program fees amounts set forth on your dashboard are provided for informational purposes only and as an estimate, and may not reflect final payment calculations and amounts. To the extent any net revenue limit is indicated on your dashboard, and to the extent you operate more than one Twitch channel, such net revenue limit S will be applied to your Twitch channels collectively. If you violate this agreement, including the terms of service, in addition to any other rights or remedies available to us, and to the extent permitted by applicable law, we reserve the right to withhold, and you agree you will not be eligible to receive program fees otherwise payable to you under this agreement, whether or not directly related to such violation. 4.2. Taxes. You may charge, and Twitch will pay, applicable national, state or local sales or use taxes, or value-added taxes, collectively taxes, that you are legally required to charge, provided those taxes are clearly stated on the original invoices you provide and listed separately in accordance with valid tax invoice requirements. Twitch may deduct or withhold any taxes it is legally required to deduct or withhold from payments made to you. After such deductions or withholdings, the remaining amount will be considered full payment under this agreement. During your participation in the program, you must provide any necessary information, forms, documents, or certifications required for Twitch to meet its reporting or tax withholding obligations related to your payments. For U.S. federal income tax purposes, Twitch treats payments made to you under this agreement as payment for services you provide. You are responsible for complying with all applicable tax laws and regulations in your local jurisdiction regarding any payments you receive.
5. Representations and warranties.
5.1. You represent and warrant that A. You are not prohibited from using the Twitch services or participating in the program. B. You will participate in the program in accordance with this agreement. C. You have read and expressly agreed to the terms of service. D. You have not made any user content available on the Twitch services or engaged in any conduct in violation of the terms of service that has not already been addressed in writing by Twitch. E. Your participation in the program, including receipt of program fees, will not violate any applicable laws, ordinances, rules, regulations, orders, licenses, permits, industry standards, judgments, decisions, or other requirements of any governmental authority, including rules governing communications and marketing. F. You have the full corporate and legal right, power, and authority to enter into this agreement and perform your obligations hereunder. G. Your acceptance of this agreement and your performance of obligations hereunder do not and will not violate any agreement by which you are bound. And H. The information you provide in connection with the program is and will remain accurate and complete at all times. You may update your information by contacting Twitch through the services.
You better knock it off. Knock it out.
I was gonna sneeze for the video, but it couldn't come out.
You further represent and warrant that you are not a sanctioned person. A sanctioned person means any entity or individual that is or is owned or controlled by persons that are I, the subject of any sanctions administered or enforced by the U.S. Department of the Treasury, Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, the U.S. Department of State, or any other relevant sanctions authority. T. Included in the entity list, or the list of denied persons administered by the U.S. Department of Commerce, Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS. E. Located, organized, or resident in any country or territory whose government is subject to a general prohibition on imports, exports, or financial transactions under U.S. economic sanctions laws. Or B. Otherwise subject to asset blocking or restrictions on transacting business with U.S. persons under any U.S. economic sanctions laws.
5.2. We do not make any representation or warranty regarding any revenue you can expect at any time in connection with the program, and we will not be liable for any actions you undertake based on your expectations. 6. Term and termination. 6.1. The term of this agreement will begin upon your acceptance of this agreement and will end when terminated by either you or us. 6.2. In addition to Twitch rights set forward to section 6.3 below, either you or we may terminate this agreement at any time, with or without cause, by giving the other party 30 days prior written notice of termination. 6.3. We may suspend or terminate your agreement in our sole and absolute discretion, immediately upon written notice. A. If you or any user content violates the terms of service or disagreement, and you or your Twitch channel is suspended or banned from the Twitch services as a result. B. If you or your Twitch channel is deemed a repeated infringer pursuant to Twitch repeated infringer policy described in the terms of service CR DMCA guidelines, and you or your Twitch channel is suspended or banned from the Twitch services as a result. Or C, if you are or ever become a sanctioned person. 6.4. Upon any termination of your agreement, all rights and obligations of the parties under this agreement will be extinguished, except that the rights and obligations of the party under section 4 and 6 and 8 and 13 of this agreement will survive the termination. For clarity, the terms of service will survive any termination of this agreement, except that as may be otherwise set forth in this agreement. No termination will relieve or either party of any liability for any breach of or liability accruing under this agreement prior to termination. 7. Modifications.
Twitch reserves the right at our discretion to change, modify, add or remove portions of this agreement at any time. For example, to reflect updates to the Twitch services, changes to the program, or to accommodate changes in the law. Collectively, modification. If Twitch changes this agreement, we will provide you notice of these changes, such as by sending an email, posting a notice on the Twitch services, or posting a notice to your dashboard. Collectively, along with any other method of notification, modification notification. Please check this agreement periodically for modifications. Modifications will not apply retroactively and will be effective 30 days following modification notification. If any modification is unacceptable to you, your only recourse is to terminate this agreement. Your continued participation in the program, 30 days or more following modification notification, will constitute your binding acceptance of the modification S.
8. Disclaimers.
To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law. A. The program and all elements thereof are provided on an as-is basis without warranties of any kind. Twitch disclaims all warranties as to the program and all elements thereof, whether statutory, express, or implied, including of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, non-infringement of intellectual property rights, course of dealing, course of performance, and usage of trade. C. Except for any express representations and warranties set forth in this agreement, Twitch does not make any representation or warranty in connection with the subject matter of this agreement. No advice or information, whether oral or written, obtained by you from Twitch in connection with the program will create any warranty not expressly stated herein. You expressly acknowledge that as used in this section 8, the term Twitch includes Twitch, its affiliates, and their respective suppliers, and each of their respective officers, directors, employees, shareholders, agents, licensors, subcontractors, and vendors.
9. Indemnification.
You hereby release and agree to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless Twitch, its affiliates, and their respective directors, officers, employees, contractors, agents, licensors, licensees, vendors, successors and assigns, from and against any allegation or claim based on, or any loss, damage, settlement, cost, expense, and any other liability, including reasonable attorney's fees, costs, and expert witness fees incurred, including those necessary to successfully establish the right to indemnification, arising from or relating to A. Any act or omission by you, including any breach by you of this agreement or allegation or claim against you of negligence, gross negligence, willful misconduct, strict liability or fraud, or your access to or use of the program, including the program tools.
10. Limitation of liability.
Neither Twitch nor any of its affiliates, nor their respective directors, officers, employees, contractors, agents, licensees, vendors, successors, nor assigns will be liable to you for lost revenue, lost profits, lost business, or indirect, incidental, consequential, special, or exemplary damages, even if we or any of the foregoing have been advised of the possibility of such damages arising from or relating to this agreement or the program. Further, our aggregate liability to you, under any theory of liability, in connection with this agreement and the program will not exceed the revenue paid or payable to you under this agreement in the 12 months immediately preceding the date on which the event giving rise to the most recent claim of liability occurred.
11. Governing law. This agreement is governed in accordance with the laws of the state of California, without giving effect to any choice of law rule that will cause the application of the laws of any other jurisdiction to the rights and duties of the parties. 12. Arbitration.
Any dispute, claim, or controversy arising out of or relating to this agreement, or the breach, termination, enforcement, interpretation, or validity thereof, including the determination of the scope or applicability of this agreement to arbitrate, will be determined by binding arbitration before one arbitrator, except that A. You may assert claims in a small claims court if the claims qualify. B. Either you or we may bring suit in court to enjoin infringement or other misuse of intellectual property rights. And C. Either you or we may bring suit in court to enforce this provision or the governing law provision of Section 11 of this agreement. There is no judge or jury in arbitration, and court review of an arbitration award is limited. However, an arbitrator can award on an individual basis the same damages and relief as a court, including injunctive relief, declaratory relief, and statutory damages, and must follow the terms of this agreement as a court would. To commence an arbitration proceeding, either I, Twitch will send a letter requesting arbitration and describing its claims to you at the addresses you have provided to Twitch, or you will send a letter requesting arbitration and describing your claim to Twitch's registered agent, Corporation Service Company, 2710 Gateway Oaks Drive, Suite 150 UN, Sacramento, California, 95833, USA. Any such letter requesting arbitration must include an individualized statement of the legal claims being asserted and the factual basis for those claims. B. A description of the remedy sought, including an accurate and good faith calculation of the amount in controversy. And C. The requesting party's original signature. Arbitration will be administered by JAMS pursuant to their comprehensive rules and procedures, including any rules regarding consolidation, as modified and clarified with respect to discovery as follows. There will be no interrogatories or requests to admit. Any requests for or required discovery, including the production of documents under the rules, will be strictly limited by a proportionality standard, proportionate to the needs of the case and amount at issue in the dispute. And the production of documents sufficient to show will satisfy a party's production obligation, absent a specific showing that requested additional documents are directly relevant, not burdensome to obtain and produce, and necessary to resolve the case. Payment of all filing, administration, and arbitrator fees will be governed by the JAMS rules. In any arbitration arising out of or relating to this agreement, the arbitrator may not award any damages excluded pursuant to Section 10, limitation of liability of this agreement. You may choose to have the arbitration conducted by video conference, based on submissions, or in person in the country and county or province in which you are located, or in San Francisco County, California. Judgment may be entered in any court having jurisdiction. If for any reason a claim proceeds in court rather than in arbitration, the parties agree that any such claims will be exclusively brought and resolved by the United States District Court for the Northern District of California, or a California state court located in San Francisco County, California. You expressly agree to submit to the personal jurisdiction of these courts for the purpose of litigating any such claim, waive any jurisdiction or venue defenses, and agree to service of process by email.
13. Miscellaneous.
13.1. If a loan-out company enters into this agreement, the lender, the individual whose services are being furnished by the lender hereby, A. agrees to the acceptance of this agreement by the lender. B. agrees to render all the services herein provided. C. agrees to grant all the rights granted herein. D. agrees to be bound by the terms and conditions of this agreement. And E. joins in all warranties, representations, agreements, and indemnities made by the lender. All notices to the lender will be deemed notices to the individual whose services are being furnished by the lender, with the same effect as if given to the individual. The individual represents and warrants that I, the lender, has the full right and authority to enter into this agreement and to grant the rights and make the representations made herein. T. The individual will look solely to the lender for any compensation owing to the individual in connection with this agreement. The lender has a valid and binding employment agreement with the individual for providing the individual's services as provided in this agreement, and such agreement will be continuous throughout the period the individual is to provide services pursuant to this agreement. In the event of a breach or threatened breach of this agreement by the lender or by the individual agrees that Twitch may enforce its rights and remedies directly against the individual without first resorting to its rights and remedies against the lender. 13.1. If a loan-out company enters into this agreement, the lender, the individual whose services are being furnished by the lender hereby, A. agrees to the acceptance of this agreement by the lender. B. agrees to render all the services herein provided. C. agrees to grant all the rights granted herein. D. agrees to be bound by the terms and conditions of this agreement. And E. joins in all warranties, representations, agreements, and indemnities made by the lender. All notices to the lender will be deemed notices to the individual whose services are being furnished by the lender, with the same effect as if given to the individual. The individual represents and warrants that I, the lender, has the full right and authority to enter into
I think
this
I already
agreement
did this, but I
and to
don't
grant the
remember.
rights and make the representations made herein. T. The individual will look solely to the lender for any compensation owing to the individual in connection with this agreement. The lender has a valid and binding employment agreement with the individual for providing the individual's services as provided in this agreement, and such agreement will be continuous throughout the period the individual is to provide services pursuant to this agreement. In the event of a breach or threatened breach of this agreement by the lender or by the individual agrees that Twitch may enforce its rights and remedies directly against the individual without first resorting to its rights and remedies against the lender.
13.2. All written notices required to be given under this agreement, except for those required for modifications which are governed by Section 7 of this agreement, will be delivered by email transmission and will be sent A. if to you, to the email address provided to us in connection with the program, and B. if to us, to legalnotice@twitch.tv. Notices will be deemed effective on the date shown to the sender's copy of the sent email. 13.3. You and we are, and will be, and will remain at all times independent contractors, and nothing in this agreement will be construed to create an agency, employment, fiduciary, representative, or any other relationship between you and us. You will not represent yourself to be an employee, representative, or agent of us. You will understand and agree that you do not have our authority to bind us in any manner, including by entering into any agreement or incurring any liability on behalf of us. This agreement is for the benefit of you and Twitch and its affiliates only, and is not for the benefit of any third parties. 13.4. You may not sign this agreement by operation of law or otherwise without our express prior written approval. Subject to that restriction, this agreement will be binding on, in order to the benefit of, and be enforceable against you and us and each of our representative successors and assigns. Any attempt to sign in violation of this section is void in each instance. We may sign this agreement, A, to any of our affiliates, or B, in connection with any merger, consolidation, or reorganization, sale, or of all, or substantially all of our assets, or any similar transaction. 13.5. The waiver by us of a breach of or a default under any provision of this agreement will be writing and will not be construed as a waiver of any subsequent breach of or default under the same or any other provision of this agreement. 13.6. Any determination that any provision of this agreement or any application thereof is invalid, illegal, or unenforceable in any respect or any instance will not affect the validity, legality, and enforceability of such provision in any other instance, or the validity, legality, or enforceability of any other provision of this agreement. Such as provision will be deemed to be reinstalled to reflect as nearly as possible the other intentions of the parties in accordance with applicable law.
13.7. This agreement is the complete and exclusive agreement between you and us with respect to the subject matter contemplated by this agreement, superseding, cancelling, and replacing all prior or contemporaneous agreements, communications, and understandings, both oral and written, regarding that subject matter. Other than as provided in Section 7 above, this agreement may be amended only by a written agreement signed by authorized representatives of you and us. To the extent there is any conflict between this agreement and the terms of service, this agreement will take precedence. All capitalized terms not defined in this agreement have the respective meanings set forth in the terms of service. You and we desire that this agreement be construed fairly, according to its terms, in plain English, without constructive presumptions against the drafting party, and without reference to the titles or section headings, which are for reference only. All uses in this agreement of the words including include s, such as, for example, and e.g., are deemed without limitation. You acknowledge and agree you have been provided the opportunity for your independent legal counsel to review and advise you regarding this agreement prior to agreeing to its terms.
Thank you guys so much for watching the monetized streamer agreement video. Yeah. Great.